Well, good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday morning, December 29th. We're just about to the end of 2021, so it's a great time to get together with you, our distribution partners, and plan for not only the month ahead, January 2022, but also the year ahead. And so had the opportunity to work with a number of you, Damon and George and some others, to put together this spreadsheet that we're going to use as a simple planning document. The first thing that I want to say is that as a white label partner, obviously our priority is helping small business owners, helping entrepreneurs do three things, right? Build financial literacy, create a lender compliant loan package, and access capital, a guaranteed minimum of $100,000. The beautiful thing is that by doing that, you as a white label partner can earn a lot of income. And so let's go ahead and do some planning for maybe January, and then we can even extrapolate that out through the course of the upcoming year. We're going to start over here on the left-hand side. Hopefully my screen is sharing properly with you, and we're looking at an Excel spreadsheet. If you don't see it, just mention it in the question and answer on Zoom. So we're going to start with some basic projections, and we'll play around with some what-if scenarios to get started. I know, and frankly, I've been there. When I was a school teacher, right, I had 2 graduate degrees, and I'm going in and teaching high school students business and economics and even computer programming, working hard. But, man, I wasn't making much money at all, and supporting a family as a teacher was just difficult. Money was tight. So my point is, I understand that it's easy to look at the world through your own eyes and assume, well, I'm not making that much money as I was not as a school teacher. Maybe everybody's like this, but it's not true. There's a lot of people that make a lot of money. But you have to have a model, a business model to make a lot of money. Fortunately for you and I, this is a way that we can help people make the world a better place, but make a lot of money. So, my first request is don't look at these big numbers and dismiss them, because there's a lot of people that make a lot of money. We were walking around yesterday, an area in Dallas, Fort Worth, and there's the Gucci store, and you walk into the Gucci store and shoes are thousands of dollars, socks are hundreds of dollars, sunglasses $500 or more. There's apartments above this mixed use area. I was curious, what did those apartments go for? The 3-bedroom apartment went for $14,000 a month. And there's a backlog on people wanting to rent those 3-bedroom apartments for $14,000 a month. So don't fall under the false mindset that there's no one that makes a lot of money. We actually have a lot of people in our society that make a lot of money, but again, you have to have a vehicle to accomplish that. Okay, so for our blue box here, where we're going to start, we're going to make the assumption that we're going to just be base minimum producer starting in January. All that we're going to do is just help 8 clients in a month. Now we'll change it and increase it. Shouldn't be less than that, because that's the deal. That's the promise we've made to each other. We're going to work with you to help at least 8 clients a month, and you're going to be active with at least 8. Now, those of you that have a little bit of an accounting or business background, you know the difference between cash and accrual accounting, right? So we're looking at the accrual basis. So moving forward, so if we're going to have 8 people enroll, and if we're charging $2,500 for the deposit, you can choose that to be refundable or non-refundable, then 8 times 2,500 is 20,000. You can see there's a formula here, B3 times B13. So if we enroll just 8 clients during the month, we would anticipate generating 20,000 of income. You and I both know not everyone's going to qualify for cash funding. So is this how much you've earned and how much you are owed under these circumstances, these assumptions? Yes. Does it mean that 20,000 went into your bank account? Well, it's possible if all 8 were cash funding and all paid as agreed. Chances are not all 8 will receive cash funding. So some of it will be owed to you. It's accounts receivable. But is it still a sale? Is it still anticipated revenue? Of course. And that's the concept of accrual accounting. Accrual accounting is tracking revenue when it's earned, not when it's received. Then for the performance fee, now when I say minimum, we're basing off of, we know that each client is promising to work with you to raise at least $100,000. It's going to be up to you to decide what the performance fee is that you want to charge. And we're going to play around with this and do some different what if scenarios in a second, but that would be an extra $80,000 using these assumptions. 8 clients raising $100,000 and you collecting 10%. Will these 8 clients that you enroll in January all get $100,000 in January? Probably not, but this is accrual accounting. This is the normal accounting that businesses use, not cash accounting. So some of it's going to be cash in your bank, some of it's going to be accounts receivable, but that is the income earned based upon those assumptions. If you are an insurance agent or you're working with an insurance agent, then you are probably helping these clients set up their key person policies. The assumption that we're making is each key person policy generates $1,000 commission. That's probably low, probably is more than that, but we'll use that for our assumption. So based upon 8 clients, your predicted gross income. Will you have expenses? Of course, every business has expenses, but your gross income is predicted to be $108,000 off of enrolling just 8 clients. If you multiply that times 12, in other words, we extrapolate that or predict that out over 12 months. In other words, taking this monthly amount, multiplying it by 12, we're at almost $1.3 million by helping just 8 clients a month. Then at the bottom again are the assumptions that we've used, and we'll play with them and we can change them. We're assuming the deposit amount is $2,500. I know some of you are charging more than that. Some of you are making it refundable versus non-refundable, but regardless, we're using that as our baseline. The performance fee, most of you are using 10%, some more, some less. The average capital raise, certainly, especially when you're offering real estate, the 100% real estate financing, that tends to be a much bigger amount, but we'll use $100,000 since that's the minimum that we're guaranteeing clients. And then the average key person policy. So you might look at this and say, well, I know I'm supposed to generate 8 a month, but I don't see how that's going to happen. 1 a week is the most I could ever envision. All right, well, we'll make that 4, and then that changes all the numbers. Don't worry about green right now. We'll come back to green in a minute. We're just working off the blue box. And so that would still be $54,000 a month. Let's say that we could only muster up 2. Which would be an abysmal failure. Then your predicted gross income is $20,000. What if we only help 1 client a month? I mean, that's still more income than the average American earns if all you did is help 1 client per month over a 12-month period. But we need to think big. We need to be compliant. We want to help at least 8. With Scott Stroud, our Chief Marketing Officer, helping you set up landing pages with our daily support, all the free leads, all these strategies. There's just no reason you can't help at least 8. Again, some of this will be immediate cash in your bank account. Some of it will be accounts receivable, just like we talked about in yesterday's training. Some people will do what they say they'll do. Some people won't. Some people will have to send them to collections or litigate or some to a debt buyer. I understand all those wild cards, but we need to start with a plan. And I encourage each of you to go into January with a plan to generate at least 8 clients in the month of January. Now, for those of you that are more strategic, a little bit bigger thinkers, a little bit more ambitious, I think 8 is a waste. I think we should strive to help 1 client a day. I know different months have different number of days, but let's just use 30 as an average month in number of days. I mean, we're making some adult money if we can just go out and help 1 client a day. It drives our predicted gross income up to $405,000. You maintain that over a year's time, we're pushing $5 million. Other things you could do is say, I want to charge a little bit more on my performance fee. Instead of 10%, I want it to be 12%. So even if we go back to the base 8, we'll do this again so you see it. So at 10%, we're predicting 108,000 of gross income, but if we were to just increase that to 12%, it generates a nice boost. So the bottom line is this is just a little what if spreadsheet you can go in and make some changes on as you would like, but there's just no reason that we can't work together and recognize outstanding success in the year ahead starting in January. So we recommend that we have a plan to generate at least 8 clients. Again, I understand some people will qualify for cash funding and some won't. That's one of the reasons that it makes sense to try to increase this number, because of course the cash funding clients puts money into your bank account sooner. But just off of 8 clients minimum that we've agreed to work together, this should be a 7-figure gross income relationship in the year ahead. All right, so now let's get over to our advanced topic. Our advanced topic, and we've rolled this out earlier this month, and we let you know we are looking for regional vice presidents. We're going to call them RVPs for short. There's no cost to be a RVP, not trying to sell you something, but what you're doing is helping us develop more white label partners, so more people are able to do this, and you earn a 25% override by bringing white label partners on. So now let's look at some numbers from that perspective. When you bring a white label partner on, again, it costs you nothing to become an RVP, and you're not charging the white label partners anything to become a white label partner. So this isn't Ponzi or MLM. There's no pay to play. Don't worry about that. We're going to have to make some assumptions of how many white label partners you have or will develop, and then also what will their production be. And so this green is linked to the blue because we're assuming each of the white label partners that you bring in is producing as of the blue. So this is your override income. So if you were to bring on 10 white label partners, which I think is very doable, insurance agents are a great fit, a lot of different B2B professionals, and there's just some people looking for new income that you could help become a white label partner. So now they're the white label partner, you're the regional vice president. Again, they don't pay anything, you don't pay anything, but what you're doing is you're earning a 25% override. So money here is calculated based upon the number of the number of white label partners you have under your RVP and their production. So we'll play with the numbers in just a second. But assuming you have 10 white label partners, nice round number, and they're producing the minimum that is expected, the 8, then your monthly override income is $270,000. Again, this is on the accrual basis. At the end of January, would you expect to have $270,000 of new money in your bank account? Probably not, because some of those clients over here coming through the white label partner you brought will get cash funding, some won't, some will pay, some will have to go fight to get the money for. I understand that, but from a gross income perspective, an extra $250,000 a month, and then your annualized, if you take that multiply times 12. The proposition summary again is a RVP. There's no cost, not even a contract to sign, so super simple. What you're going to do if you want to be an RVP is you need to create a joint venture agreement. That's the agreement between you and your white label partners. And then you can get templates for those from Law Depot or Rocket Lawyer or Legal Shield, wherever you want. They sign your joint venture agreement, which is between you and them. We're not party to that. It's normally set up 50-50, but it's up to you. And then secondly, you have them sign up as a white label partner with us so we can place them under your hierarchy. What you do is just support them, help them be successful, and then you earn a 25% override. So let's say that you didn't think that you could get 10, let's say that all you got was 1. Well, even if you had 1 white label partner performing as expected, then that generates an extra $27,000 a month. There's a lot of people in our society that don't make $27,000 a month by working full time through their own blood, sweat, tears, their own effort. Here, this is override income of $27,000 in a month, and you extrapolate that out, it's a really nice annual earning. I think getting your first white label partner is the most difficult because it's maybe something new you haven't done before. But if you can get one, you can get two, and if you can get two, you can get three, and so forth. So I would prefer to keep it off of the assumption that we'll ramp up to 10, but you can play with the spreadsheet as you'd like. So I'm going to stop rambling and start answering the questions that you all have regarding planning for January of 2022. We only have a couple days left of December. Certainly want to finish strong. We see a number of you just enrolling an immense number of clients here at the end of the month. And so that's great. We want to keep that up. But as we look at January, what questions do any of you have? What objections, concerns, challenges are you facing that we can address? Because what we'd like to do is work with each of you to enroll at least 8 clients per month. That's the goal. That's what we had planned to do. That's the agreement we have. More than that, of course, will generate more income for you. And then if you want, not pressuring, but if you're looking to be a leader, then this is additional income where you can just simply recruit white label partners and earn an override from that as shown. All right, so let's go through some of the questions. Leads. Yes, we've had many trainings, Marcelo, on leads. First thing you want to do is have a conversation with Scott Stroud. If you've not, he's our Chief Marketing Officer. He can help you get a landing page set up. You don't have to have a landing page, but it's recommended. And we've had a training, I think, just this past week that if the thing holding you back is leads, we will go get you free leads. I mean, that is not an obstacle. There's so many people that need so many small businesses that want and need capital. And so when we talk about leads, Marcelo, just as we demonstrated in that training, those would be typically recently formed business entities that are typically home-based. Those are some of the best to address. All right, and then Winston has a question. Who pays the key person policy? The key person policy is paid by the business. It's an asset of the business. So for instance, when I bought this commercial building that I'm sitting in now, we had to get an insurance policy in case the building exploded or burnt down or was destroyed by any disaster. Do I pay for that insurance policy? No, Winston, I don't. I don't pay for any of it. The business pays for it. So that's the answer to your question for who pays for the key person policy. The business would pay for that. The client's business, I should say. All right, and then Winston also asked, how do higher deposit amounts affect financing? I don't think they do. I mean, you could make the deposit higher or lower, but 2,500 is the norm. And we encourage you to consider that. But I do see a number of you increasing that. But for simplicity, let's just assume that we're going to go with 2,500. That's not impacting financing. That's the deposit that's paid to you by the client, so the loan package can be developed. Winston also asked the pros and cons of having the deposit refundable or non-refundable. Well, I like it being refundable because that's what most people are used to. You go lease an apartment, you pay a deposit, you fulfill your agreement, you get it back. Now, some of you might say, well, I don't want to have to pay the deposit back to the client. Well, you can build that in. So let's say that you wanted to increase your performance fee to 15%. That'll drive in more gross income, and then you've more than absorbed that. It's just like right now, we live in a time of very high inflation. You look at the cost of fruits and meats and dairy, just about everything, new cars in our society right now, the prices are going up, up, up. But at the same time, look at the profitability of the businesses going up, 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 because they absorb that extra cost and then mark it up even more. They make a profit. So if you wanted to make this deposit refundable, it doesn't have to come out of your pocket. You can build it into the price structure. All right, and then Winston's last part of his question is, so if you're a regional vice president, you are essentially the mentor. You're working with your white label partners and you're doing some sort of income split with them. The amount of income split that you want to do, Winston, with your white label partners is up to you. Often it's 50-50, but whatever it is, it needs to be in writing. Just like we talked about yesterday, agreements need to be in writing so everyone is on the same page, but that's up to you. You could provide what services or resources that you're wanting to provide for that in addition to basic mentorship, and you can get a template agreement from a number of sources online. All right, and then also we got a question on the commissions from the key person policies. So Winston, I don't know if you're life insurance licensed or not, but commissions are paid by what's usually called the carrier. So if you sold a New York Life policy, New York Life pays the agent for selling that policy, Mutual of Omaha, Primerica, so forth. So the commissions come from the insurance company to the agent that's writing the policy. All right, so who else has any questions before we wrap it up today? The topic today is a simple one. We're almost to the end of 2021. It's very important that we go into the new year with a plan. We encourage, we recommend, we ask that your plan be to recruit at least 8 clients a month. And by adding at least 8 clients a month through your white label partner model, that should generate a 6-figure monthly income, a 7-figure annual income, but you certainly can shoot for a much higher amount. For those of you that are more leader oriented, you could certainly, in addition to doing this, you could also help others. And that's the regional vice president role. There's no cost to sign up as a regional vice president. Frankly, there's not even a contract you have to sign with us. So you don't have to worry about that. If you want to be responsible for a given state, then we need to make sure that we're adding at least 4 new white label partners per month. But if you don't want to be the state RVP of Florida or Georgia or Massachusetts or wherever, you could just be at large. And yes, I'm happy to share these spreadsheets. I was getting asked. Well, it's a singular spreadsheet, but yes, I'm happy to send it out with the recording. So with that, we're going to keep it short today. Really, the burden comes to you. You've already, if you've already signed up as a white label partner, you've already promised to do this. We want to help you do this and preferably even more. And hopefully the spreadsheet helps you better understand the anticipated returns by doing that. Plus, if you want to be an RVP, which doesn't cost you anything, then you can earn override income by helping others be white label partners. All right, thanks everyone. We'll see you back tomorrow morning. Appreciate your time. Bye-bye.